Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Apocablog. Day 1525 of thinking that it's a glorious day to celebrate. Uh, Two Republicans in Ohio reportedly suggested back in January that June 14th become Donald J. Trump Day in their state. State reps John Cross and Reggie Stallsfuss, whatever, emailed their fellow lawmakers in an appeal for co-sponsors of the bill, which they said was intended to celebrate one of the greatest one of the greatest presidents in American history. Drink to that. Uh, so June 14th is Flag Day, and it's a federal holiday. But they wanted him to explain why they thought this was a good idea by enumerating some of his great accomplishments uh, that he accomplished in record time. So, unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, Native Americans, veterans, individuals with disabilities, and those without a high school diploma all reached record lows. Unemployment for women hit its lowest rate in nearly 70 years. I would assume that goes back to World War II. Unemployment for we covered that one. Lifted nearly 7 million people out of food stamps. Poverty rates for African and Hispanic Americans reached record lows. Income inequality fell for 2 straight years and by the largest amount in over a decade. Bottom 50% of Americans saw a 40% increase in net worth. Wages rose fastest for low-income and blue-collar workers, a 16% pay increase. African American home ownership increased from 41.7% to 46.4%. Created more than 1.2 million manufacturing and construction jobs. Put in place policies to bring back supply chains from overseas. And small business optimism broke a 35-year-old record in 2018. So that's the short list. I've got the long one. I'll print it out at some point and we can follow that yellow brick road. And the praise for Big Mean Sexy Daddy doesn't end with them. Representative Jim Jordan, during the impeachment, said that Democrats are going to, last week Democrats threatened President Trump that if he declined to testify during the impeachment charade, they would use it as proof of his guilt. That may be how trials work in socialist countries, but that's not how it works in America. Democrats are going to these lengths because they're obsessed with canceling President Trump, Jordan explained. They're scared of him. They know he works for the American people and not the Washington swamp. Unlike most politicians, President Trump did what he said he'd do. Hopefully one day he'll get to do it again. High praise indeed. Lindsey Graham. Post-impeachment, Trump is the most potent force in the Republican Party. So maybe he should have fought to try and keep his ass in office. You know, maybe fought the fucking theft of the election. So Graham went on to say on Fox News Sunday, the Trump movement is alive and well. All I can say is the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus. And then he went on to criticize Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell for turning around and attacking Trump because he realizes that, and this is interesting because Graham actually recognizes that yeah, we're going to bring the party to us. We're not going with it. So it's interesting that he did not fight much harder for the, having the impeachment, the election theft overturned or at least looked into. But so yeah, so they recognize the greatness. They recognize that we're with Trump. Now, the people of where West Palm Beach held a pretty big President Day celebration for President Trump. There were no celebrations for the potted plant, who got 81 million votes. And then at one point, over 500,000 Trump supporters had viewed the pro-Trump celebration in West Palm. The total was, at the printing of this, the total was up to 887,000 and counting on the Right Side Broadcast Network. President Trump actually showed up and gave the folks a wow and a hey. So, this doesn't happen for Barack Obama. It doesn't happen for the potted plant who's in office. It didn't happen for Bush. Didn't happen for Clinton. And oddly enough, only 47,000 people watched the potted plant speech on President's Day. I didn't even know he gave one. And the potted plant had 1,300 upvotes, 7,800 downvotes on his speech on YouTube, and comments are still disabled. But most popular president in U.S. history, in global history. So, we covered that, so big, mean, sexy daddy went and said hey to his people. So, this guy's so popular, we're still having parties for him even after they stole his fucking seat. And people like Mitch McConnell think that going after him and Liz Cheney, they think that we won't punish them as opposed to celebrating the glory that was his fucking 4-year reign of greatness. Mind-boggling, but happy President's Day, folks.